Folks in central and northern Alabama have spent this last week picking up the pieces of their lives. We've been traveling to the hardest hit areas, letting people tell their stories and showing you the power of Mother Nature. Fox 10 News reporter Chastity Bird was in northern Alabama starting on this past Sunday. She has a recap of what she found.
We knew what we were headed into, but when we stepped out of the car that first day in Pleasant Grove, nothing had prepared us for this. Photojournalist Ricardo Montgomery and I started walking through the ravaged neighborhood. Power lines were everywhere, and several people told me to watch where I stepped. A local firefighter came up to me and told me about a fellow firefighter and his family that were sucked from their home and thrown 30 to 40 yards in the storm. I will never forget the Stewart family.
I remember at some point, I guess maybe when it slowed down for me, I was able to look up, and I looked up in the air, and from about the distance of that power line behind you, my 8-year-old was in the air, and he was just being flung around, and there was nothing I could do. I could just see him flying through the air, and then the next thing I knew, we were on the ground. I don't remember landing.
When Lisa Stewart came to, she saw her son again, and also her daughter and husband. They had cuts and bruises, but all were alive. The Stewarts, who were virtually left with nothing, told me this as I was leaving.
And the Lord has a plan for us, because I don't know anybody that could have been sucked out and rode through something like that and landed, and we're standing here to tell you about it.
As I was writing their story that night, I remember how helpless I felt, wanting to not worry about my work and just volunteer to help these people. We spent another day in Pleasant Grove, then on Tuesday went to a little town called Cordova.
Y'all doing okay?
Yeah.
Y'all need anything?
No, we got me a tarp, I'm leaking.
Okay. Y'all take care.
The mining town is just northwest of Birmingham. Parts of the town had been shut down due to the devastation. The National Guard stood at the entrance points to the town, turning people away unless they had a pass. We met Police Chief Kenneth Bobo, who told us to hop in his car, that he would personally take us on a tour.
Hasn't sunk in yet. We've been working so long. We've been working nonstop since Wednesday, and it's the only way you can, if you stop and your emotions get to you.
Bobo drove us by the police station and fire station that were both hit. The only thing left downtown was the vault inside the local bank. Bobo said he had never experienced anything like this, but he was quick to say he wasn't giving up.
Just pick up and keep on going, because we have to. We have to rebuild, and it's my responsibility to get this place back going like it was before, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
Bobo said one of the hardest things to do was call families. The town had 4 fatalities. We checked back in with Bobo later in the week, and he did have some good news. Power had been restored for those who were able to receive it. Wednesday marked the 1-week anniversary of the nightmare. We spent the day in Tuscaloosa. As we pulled into town, the first thing we noticed was the amount of law enforcement. Searches were still being conducted for missing people. Through it all, though, the people stay positive. Doug Thigpen is a lifelong resident. I asked him what he hoped to see in the upcoming weeks.
It's no hoping. I'm going to see recovery. We're going to come back stronger than we ever were.
And that's the attitude from most people I've come across while covering this. There's complete devastation, lives lost, and people who have nothing except hope. That hope is going to be needed because although it has been rough so far, there's still a long road ahead. Reporting from northern Alabama, Chastity Bird, Fox 10 News.